Oh, shit. And we're live.
We're live. We're going live
Boom.
with it. We're going live with it. We're going live with it. What is up, everybody, and welcome to Hawkwind's Radio Picture Show. Oh!
It's time!
It's Wednesday
Like
night.
the UFC fighter person?
Ooh, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. You feeling good today, baby?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling, bro.
Good. Ooh.
It's a good day. It's a good Wednesday. It's not that fucking hot outside. I was able to come in here without a fucking sweat. It was great.
Yeah, it's been hot AF out here in Chicago. It's also just been like overcasty with all these like the Canadian wildfires and all that. Man, I'm a little sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. Have you been feeling kind of sluggish from all that too?
I've been kind of sluggish, buddy.
Hey, buddy. I feel like I'm in a Tennessee Williams play, just all sluggish and slow, like, you know?
Oh, well, guy, I've been kind of sluggish too, guy.
Hey,
Man, I'm so excited to be back on the show though, man. It's been a doozy of a week, and yeah, man, it's been cool. I think you and I got some pretty cool stuff on the horizon coming up pretty soon that you guys should definitely tune in.
We had a
and
little
check out.
pre-show meeting. Who knows what we were talking about, man?
We got some cool stuff up our shoulders,
We got some more shows coming up.
up our
some good
sleeveys.
good live events.
Yeah, we got some stuff coming your way. So for any of you guys who have never been to Hawkwinds before, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad to have you guys. We come to you live every single Wednesday night from the beautiful Q4 radio station in the city of Chicago, Illinois.
Yes, sir.
If you guys are interested in more of our shows, please check out more of our episodes. We've got a ton of them. Please check it out. We are a platform for Chicago artists of all different kinds of mediums, whether you're a storyteller, a musician, a band, a filmmaker, a puppeteer, even a pro wrestler. This is a safe space for you, baby. And again, if you guys like the show, please hit like, hit subscribe. It means the absolute world to us.
And it's free.
And it's free! Do we need to mention one more time? It's free.
Whoa. That's too much, guy.
It's free 99. You can't beat that price. But for real, it really means the world to us. So give us a like, give us a subscribe. Also, if you're tuning in and you're watching the show, please give us a little holler on the group chat here. If you got a question for us or for our guests tonight, please go on the group chat. Let us know. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Unless, of course, you're tuning in from Columbus, Ohio, because you like the Arnold Schwarzenegger statue that's hanging out there. And you're hanging. I don't really have anything against people. I love you guys from Columbus.
Where's the Jay Smooth statue, bro?
It's in the works, bro.
Oh,
It's
shit.
in the works. It's going to be made out of marijuana.
Are you talking to the president? And you're like, yo.
I'm working on it.
He's like, yeah, we'll have many statues about Jay Smooth.
If you were to get a statue made of you, what would it be made of, and where would you put it? And what pose would you be in?
It would definitely be a statue made out of mushrooms.
Like
psychedelic mushrooms.
Okay.
And then my
No
pose,
shiitake here.
no shit talking here, boy. And then I would be doing the famous like weed smoking pose.
Hey, that's cool. Where would you be put?
Oh, where would I be put? I would be replaced. I would replace the eagle at Logan Square.
Ooh. Oh, right on top of that? That's cool.
No. I would replace it.
Yeah.
Right on top of it. Fuck that shit.
But you're up on that big column there. That's that's arguably one of the best views of the city.
So if I were to ever be a quadrillionaire, I would buy all of Logan Square.
Hey, well, a kid can dream. You start with real estate, young man. Build a. I'm kidding. The American dream's dead.
Is that what
folks.
Daddy Trump says?
No, it's Vanguard and BlackRock aren't going to let you do it. Sorry.
Oh, fuck. They own everything.
Unless you're a quadrillionaire, which I don't think that exists.
Oh.
But there's always hope. There's always hope.
Speaking of wrestlers.
There's always hope. Speaking of wrestlers, this next guest that we have here on the show is the marvelous Matt Nix. He's also known as the Purple Poppy. He's been involved in professional wrestling for the past 15 years plus. And 11 of those years, he was running the Freelance Wrestling Group. He is a podcasting host, a TikToker, and the host of My Violent Tendencies podcast. Everybody, please give us a warm round of applause for our next guest, Mr. Matt Nix.
Hey. What's up, guys?
What's up, Matt?
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother.
How you doing?
What's happening? Welcome to the show, man.
Real quick, you said I got a thing with your statue. You got to be with your foot on top of the eagle's head, and then they rig it up so when you move your hand down with the joint and then it pulls it back, there's smoke that comes out.
Oh, yeah.
That's an engineering feat that I truly believe we can accomplish.
That's the only way I would have the eagle statue with me is if I'm putting my foot on its head.
You're like a little animatronic, like a little stoner animatronic from It's a Small World.
Hell yeah.
Welcome to Logan Square, such a perfect place. Here we have some weed and we're in place. I am made of mushrooms and I have a good view. My name is Jay Smooth.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thanks. Hey, ooh. Cast him and make him a statue, folks. Well, Matt, welcome to the show, brother. What's happening? For those who have never met Matt Nix before, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you did a pretty good intro there at the beginning. I've been wrestling for about 15 years
Thanks.
now.
I copy and pasted your bio.
I don't know. Like I'm so bad at talking about myself like on the spot sometimes, but like I've been wrestling for about 15 years now. I've grown up and lived in the Chicagoland area my whole life. Originally from the south side of Chicago. Bridgeview. I've been, like I said, wrestling for 15 years, 11 of those years running freelance wrestling here in Chicago. We do our shows monthly at the Logan Square Auditorium, actually, right outside of where the...
I know Logan Square Auditorium.
Yeah, and there's a lot of weed smoking that goes on outside there, too. So
It's funny you mention it because they have like a whole like... I forgot what her name is on Instagram. Stay Highwear. She does like this whole like weed themed like shot. Like she get a bunch of like benders, like weed benders.
Oh,
like,
cool.
Clothing benders and stuff like that. And on the second floor they have like tattoos and stuff. So like they
do it inside the Oh, nice.
Logan Square Auditorium. So I know what you're talking about. Yeah, man.
Heck yeah. That's our home for the last I think we started running there in 2017 maybe was like the first time we ran a show there. And like freelance, we started at the Abbey Pub on Elston Avenue, Grayson and Elston, until it burned down. And then we were like, shit, what are we gonna do? So we kind of scrambled at the last minute and we were able to get into the Bottom Lounge. It was, for me, like going to shows there, my entire childhood and not childhood, teenage years and stuff, but was really cool to be like, man, like we're doing shows in this same venue where I've seen all these like awesome bands. It made us feel a little bit more like legitimate, we're like, but we eventually kind of outgrew it because, our shows were like just at the right time, we're catching fire and people were like, basically knocking the door down, trying to get in on the shows. We have one of our wrestlers now, Coda Hernandez. He always tells the story too of him trying to sneak into our shows at Bottom Lounge because he was underage at the time, and our shows are 21 plus, and him getting caught and thrown out. Probably not by any of us, but by like security of the venue. But it's just so funny now, and now he's one of our champions.
Hell yeah, man. Is there like a lot of people with similar stories that were like, hey man, like I've seen you guys for a long time and now I'm here. Like is that like a recurring theme in wrestling? In your promotion at least?
It's in the last couple years I've been witness to it a lot more, and it's like cuz I'm only 34, but I don't feel like old, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm not old. I'm 34.
You're practically dead, bro. Just kidding.
It's all downhill from here.
Does it hurt to turn 30?
Yes.
I always ask that question.
It depends.
Heartache, hangovers, and gravity.
Yeah.
Harder in your 30s.
Man.
But you know, like especially after the pandemic, like when wrestling kind of started coming back in full swing again, and there was just so many new people popped up, like this newer kids that started training, and a lot of people that would come up to us and be like, hey, like I used to watch your guys' stuff, or I used to like talking about me specifically. I would run into kids on shows like here, or like around the Midwest, and they'd be like, oh my God, like it's you. And I'm like, yeah. Like not like they'd be like bowing down to me or anything, but they're just like, oh, like especially too, like I grew up doing a lot of backyard wrestling before when I was in high school and stuff. And there's a lot of kids that came up in wrestling that like kind of similar to me. We kind of were so obsessed with wrestling that we were just like, we were watching any type of wrestling we could find, including backyard wrestling on YouTube. And, you know, then we were like, we could do that. Even though on every show that WWE ever has, it says like, dude, don't try this at home. Or like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? And it's just weird. Not weird, but like, it's kind of cool for them to be like, dude, I remember like, I was like 12 years old and I remember like finding your guys' backyard wrestling videos. And like, it's just like one of those full circle moments, even for me too, to be like, I'm that like older guard person that like some people, you know, like I did the same thing with independent wrestlers that I grew up watching and being like, oh man, I used to watch like IW Mid-South and like, you know, when I first met this guy, Darren Corbin, he's been wrestling for like 20 plus years at this point. He actually just had his 5,000 match or something like that recently, I think, but 5,000? I might have made that up, but maybe it was 1,500. I know there's a five in there something, but like
that's a lot.
He's been at it for a minute and he's like genuinely one of the most entertaining individuals I've ever seen in a wrestling ring. And like, just like with comedic timing, you know, being able to like pull at the heartstrings and like carry the emotion through a match and stuff. Like he's awesome. And when I first like was meeting him and like hanging out with him and stuff like that, in the back of my head, I'm like, dude, it's fucking Darren Corbin. Like, that's crazy that like we're kind of like friends now. And then like now I'm like, he's just like my friend. But like I see that now with kids that are coming up, and I'm like, I'm just like, to me, I'm like, I'm nobody. I'm literally nobody. But it's cool that they like have this like weird little respect for me in certain ways. So I do appreciate it.
Now, if you were to run into your younger self, you know, 12, 13-year-old, what advice would you have for yourself?
Be patient. Don't talk so much. And listen and genuinely like listen. I mean, I do and did listen to people's advice, but a lot of times it had to be after learning the hard way on certain things. But like, yeah, just stay motivated. Don't let the little things get to your head, and you know, have fun. Don't ever let that out of sight.
Do you remember your first ever like wrestling experience? Like when you saw like if you saw it on TV or you saw it live and you were like, this is what I want to do for a living or for the rest of my life or whatever.
I feel like I don't remember like genuinely the first time, but I do have a really like vivid memory of like one of my cousins had VHS recorded the WCW Halloween Havoc 1997. So he had like a bootleg tape of that, and I was like a kid, so we were watching it, and I just remember looking at Rey Mysterio in the full like purple bodysuit.
Hell yeah!
And this is not where the purple obsession came from, but just seeing this dude in like a full bodysuit like that, my first thought was like, dude, that guy looks like a Power Ranger. Like, that's so cool. And then he's like doing all this crazy acrobatic stuff. And I was just like, this is what wrestling is? Like, this is awesome. And like, I was just hooked on it from there on out. And like, I remember like growing up, it was like not like cool to watch wrestling. Like, it was kind of like, I never got like picked on for it, but that was also because I like played sports and stuff and would beat up any of the bullies if I wanted to. But But like, yeah, only a few of my friends really cared about it, and like that's kind of where when we started doing backyard wrestling, we were like, you guys all like wrestling? We like wrestling. And one of our friends had a trampoline, so we were just like, dude, let's just start doing our own shows. And my neighbor, a couple doors down, he had like one of those shoulder video recorders where you literally put the whole VHS tape into the side, close it up, and you can record right onto there. So we were just like, we would find like blank VHS tapes, or like go buy some and just like record our own shows. I actually found the whole set of these like recently at my parents' house. There's just like a stacks of these like VHS tapes with us, just like I was like popping them in, checking them out and stuff. And I'm like, man, how did none of us get hurt? Especially with like it being on a trampoline. I feel like that adds such an extra element of danger to it too. And knock on wood, none of us ever really got seriously injured. But it kind of just like grew our obsession of wrestling, that we were like, we had like started making our own gear and stuff too. So it was like, it wasn't just like us in like our own street clothes and stuff. We like had like characters and stuff. And that was actually where I came up with Matt Knicks, was in backyard wrestling. And I stole the idea of it from how Shawn Michaels got his name, or came up with his name, because Shawn's real name is Michael Sean Hickenbottom. Yeah. Great last name. And my real name is Nicholas Matthew Almendarez, and I took my middle name, made it my first name, take my first name, made it my last name, and I added the K and the S just for aesthetics, so it looked better. I always have to tell people though, I'm like, it's Knicks, like the basketball team. It also makes it hard for me to find information, or like if like a lot of wrestlers like to vanity search themselves on Twitter and stuff. Anytime I try doing that, it's just Knicks basketball stuff. So I'm like, perfect. Nobody can find me. I love that.
Now, where does the name Purple Poppy come from?
So the Purple Poppy thing kind of it came. I think one of our trainers, my friend Isaiah, he's one of the head trainers for the school, and at the time I was just like wrestling and I had purple gear and stuff, and I was kind of doing this character that was like, not like, it was basically like a bad ripoff of Prince, like a C-level Prince parody, and I came out to like Purple Rain was my theme song, and like, which is so funny because like you think wrestling theme song, it's got to be like but then you have like Purple Rain, but like everybody's like singing it, and like everyone's got their phones out and stuff, and like I was like, okay, like, people are like, it's more of my match then at that point my match started on my entrance. My entrance was what we would call like the shine, or like that's all I really needed sometimes for like shows, like, because especially when you have cards where there's like all these other like incredible athletes and guys that are going to do all these like amazing and awesome moves, and then I could just go out there and like have everyone sing my entrance song, do a couple quick little things, get beat up, and then we figure out whatever we're doing for the end. And you don't have to you don't have to overstay your welcome. You can just kind of get in, get out, and be a fun little memorable part of the show, and not have to be the focal point of every match, so to speak.
That makes sense.
Do you like being the heel or the baby face of matches?
I like being a heel more because it's more fun. Because you can just like, you kind of just be unhinged sometimes, and just like a lot of times when I'm a bad guy, I'll yell shit at the crowd, or like, especially if I'm in a tag match and I have like time on the apron, I'll like turn around and like have full conversations with people, and just like they'll say something and be like, you're such a loser, and I'll turn around and be like, really? Explain to me, why am I a loser? I'm standing here wrestling right now. Well, you paid a ticket to watch me wrestle. Who's the loser? And then they're like, you're still, and then just going back and forth, and then I end up getting my ass kicked, and then I roll out there and the guy's like, see, I told you you're a loser, and I'm like, shut up, you're wrong. And like now that person has like a really fun, like memorable moment now from that show. Like they might not remember me specifically, but they'll be like, oh, that purple dude was like such an asshole. Or like the opposite, like that purple guy was so fun. Like he came out to Purple Rain or whatever, and yeah, just memorable moments. I feel like that's what's missing in wrestling. I feel like is memorable moments, because it's especially on the independents, everyone's so focused and driven on just like getting signed or getting on WWE or AEW television or TNA, and you gotta like build yourself up to that level. You have to make those companies, give them a reason to want to bring you in, give them a reason to, like, how are you going to make them money?
And what do you think is the reason that companies like WWE or AEW or TNA want to sign certain independent wrestlers like we've seen in the past before?
Well, just like any other, like, sport or anything, like you want to, like, you have to keep the influx of players or talent, going through. Eventually the older people get older and then they can't do it anymore, and there's, especially in wrestling, like you need to continuously kind of like be working on that next crop of talent, and WWE does a really great job of it with their performance center, and they have done a lot of scouting and stuff from the independents, and like picking up like top level talent there, and maybe like they won't take them and put them on television right away, but they're like, okay, we have this person here with raw talent, let's bring them in here and kind of like work with them and kind of teach them some stuff, and then you polish them up real nice, and then you present them on television, and there you have your next stars, if they connect with the audience, because that's the biggest problem too, is you can be the best wrestler in the world, you can be entertaining, you can but like if it just doesn't connect with the crowd, like if they just don't care, they just don't care, and like if that's the case, you're not making anybody money, you're just kind of holding the spot up, and it's just the unfortunate nature of the business sometimes, is that it is very cut and dry that way, sometimes, but not always. And but I think like I said, just focusing on making moments in wrestling is what I think everybody should be looking towards. Things that people are going to be like, oh man, I was at that show and I remember this, or like this thing happened. And it's kind of, it's such a vague thing to kind of say, but yeah.
How much flexibility do you guys have to make those moments? Because we've been to wrestling shows where guys are jumping off the bar, they're throwing other dudes into the seating areas. How much wiggle room do they give you as producers to the wrestlers to do some outlandish stuff like that? Are they open to whatever you want to bring to the table, and do they say yes or no, or how do you make that big moment?
It pretty much all depends too. They usually, I feel like everybody kind of has like, I wouldn't say free reign on whatever they're doing, but like for specific things, like they'll sometimes there'll be like things on our run sheet that'll be like, hey, nobody do this or this, specific things, so it doesn't take away from somebody else's match, like but anything like specific like that, they'll come and talk to us, or like pitch their idea and be like, how could we do this, or like, but most of the time it's basically just left to their own devices. And a lot of times too, like when I say like making the moments like that too, is a lot of times is doing nothing, and by that I mean like something happens, like you do a big move or whatever, and then you kind of like, you got to give the crowd time to register it, give it a chance to like kind of, and then when it starts coming down, then that's when you move on to the next thing, to kind of like make everything stand out and feel more memorable, I guess.
What do you think is the wildest moment you've ever seen, witnessed, or participated in any wrestling match?
Oh man, there's probably so many. Honestly, the first one that pops into my head is one that happened. It's actually the first freelance show that we did at the Logan Square Auditorium, and it almost was our last. And it was the opening match of that show, and it was usually we genuinely always start our shows with what we call a 6-way scramble, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's 6 people. They start, and it's usually like, it's a great way to quick pace. Set the tone for the show. Everybody's like really into it. And the fans like come to expect it too. So like when our announcer's like, we're gonna start the show off with a 6-way scramble, like the whole crowd like says it with them too. It's awesome. Yeah, scramble them eggs. And so this match specifically, there was a wrestler. I don't think he wrestles anymore, but he's a good guy from Wisconsin. His name was the Husky Heartthrob, Cody Rice. And he had another wrestler on his shoulders, like chicken fight style. That wrestler's name was Pat Monix. And on the floor was another wrestler. His name is Zicky Dice. He does still wrestle now. I think he does stuff with like the NWA. And he's a good guy. He's in a band too, or was. I can't remember the name of his band though, but
it's not Fozzy, is it?
No, he wasn't in Fozzy. But I do remember he goes, hey, because his shtick is that he's like a magician, like a wrestling magician, and he like legitimately knows like how to do a bunch of cool tricks and stuff, and he implements it in his matches and stuff. Right. So he's like, is it cool if I do like he said, I might not have been paying attention, but I think I assumed he meant like flash paper to like, oh, I'm going to like shoot a fireball at him. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, do it. Whatever. That's not what he did. He had like lighter fluid in his mouth and went and blew a giant fireball from the floor up, and it caught this dude that was on his shoulders, like in his face. And then like the move was like he gave him like what we reverse Hurricane Rana. So he's sitting on his shoulders. He flies back. The big guy takes the bump, and the crowd loses it. Meanwhile, the owner of the building's rushing at me, and I'm just like, I didn't know that was gonna happen. I swear to God, like he's like, ugh. He was so mad. But there's been so many things that have happened over the years there at that building that he's just like, I just know now. Like I'm like, okay, like we're cool. Like just like there's not a big deal, no problem. Like he's just like, oh, all right. Like, but sometimes, man, he's a tough one to do.
Are you talking about the Logan Square Auditorium? I saw ICP there one time.
Really?
Yeah. This was like
whoop, whoop.
15 years ago. So
dude,
yeah,
that's sick.
I was it was. Things happen in that auditorium.
Oh yeah.
I mean, boofing or fireballs, what's worse?
Pick your poison.
You might not be able to burn the place down with a boof, but fire though.
I mean, Fago will get everything sticky. You know what I mean?
True.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop. Family.
Oh, man.
But that's crazy though, because I myself have been experienced with spitting fire, and it can be a liability, man. Especially like in a low hanging ceiling, you get some fabric. That's
This is actually a wig. One time he spat fire out and it burned off all my hair, so now I have a wig.
Yeah. You get the drawn on eyebrows and stuff.
Oh yeah, this is all tattooed
eyebrows. Yeah. That's the move.
That's why today's show is brought to you by Aunt Sally's Wigs. Want to know how Jay Smooth gets his hair so silky and smooth? That's right. Go and get yourself a wig from Aunt Sally's Wigs.
You already know.
Our daily sponsor.
Sponsor me, please.
What do you think is the worst injury that you've ever gotten in wrestling?
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you what. I kind of got hurt last Friday.
Oh, shit.
that I thought, knock on wood, I actually have not had many like significant injuries in wrestling. Like in high school doing like amateur wrestling, I dislocated my shoulder pretty bad, and like that's been like a nagging injury over the years. I've twisted ankles and stuff like that. Thankfully, I never really broken anything. But last Friday, I kind of like jacked up my neck a little bit, like and it wasn't even like I don't blame the wrestler who gave me the move. Like he did everything totally fine. Like he picked me up for like a sit out power bomb, and when we went down, I grabbed the back of my head just to protect myself. And when we landed, I think what happened was from the impact of like landing, I didn't let go of my head in time. And I kind of yanked my head down towards my chest and like gave myself like really bad like whiplash, and it was like really bad stiff neck. I was moving like Batman in the cowl, like I'm Batman. And all weekend it was rough, and I was like, I didn't think I broke my neck because I feel like you would know if you broke your neck, right? But I've heard so many stories of like wrestlers that have like broken their necks in matches and just like kept wrestling, and they're just like, man, my neck's really sore. And like wrestlers aren't known for being the smartest people, and I'm just like, I've done that before, like hurt my back or something, and just been like, it's fine. But like this one, I was like, I don't know, I'm 34. We don't bounce back as fast as we used to. So I was like, on Monday, I was like, if it's still pretty bad, I'm just gonna go to like urgent care and be like, yo, check this out. And I had to lie to them though. So hope my urgent care doctor's not watching right now. But I just told her I fell down the stairs.
We just blocked all insurances.
Yeah. But thankfully it's just like a stiff neck, and like some of the muscles around my shoulders and like on my back there are a little stiff and sore still, but like I can move my head around. Definitely not broken. Looked at the X-rays. We're good, but
what do you think is the most common wrestling injury?
Honestly, I feel like ACL tears, ACL,
Really?
MCLs, like anything with like knees or like ankles I feel like are very common, just because like any kind of sports injury, like you're moving around real fast, making quick cuts and stuff. I feel like you're at risk for like kind of tweaking an ankle or a knee or something. I mean, neck injuries too are fairly common, just from, the nature of the beast. Sometimes we get dropped on our heads or hard on our backs, and we hurt ourselves by yanking our heads like that. It just happens. But I would say that those are probably the most common, or concussions. I would probably say is probably the most common, which is not great.
Right. Now, how resilient are wrestlers? I grew up playing hockey, and the stigma around hockey players was always that they would get these really, really nasty injuries and still be out there for the next shift. They can get their teeth knocked out, still be out there. Are wrestlers kind of the same way, where like if they're in the moment and they have a pretty severe injury, that they just got to play through it until the end of the match and then kind of assess the damage from there? And then even after that, do they continue on, even if, like you said, if they bruised or tore an ACL or something? How far do they really push it before they really kind of listen to their bodies and they're like, hang on, I need to take a break?
Well, I would definitely say every wrestler is different. Everyone kind of like carries themselves in different ways, but especially when we're younger, I mean, you definitely are like, no, I'm fine, I can keep wrestling or whatever. But generally, if it's like not like a like life or death situation, like wrestlers will at least like push themselves to finish the match, because they don't want to like take the crowd out of like their little what do you call it, suspension of disbelief. You don't want to like ruin the show for people, even though like that's the mentality, but like everyone's just like, the correct mentality is like, no, if you're hurt, we can stop the show, it's okay, like everyone will understand. Like, it's not a big deal, but you don't want to be that one, you don't want to be that guy. And but like I've definitely seen, like on our shows, we had one of my friends, Craig Mitchell, he ruptured his Achilles in like the beginning of a match.
Woof.
And they went the whole like 30-45 minutes like and finished it. And you could definitely tell he was like favoring it a little bit in the match, but they were still able to get through everything they were trying to do. And like, it's honestly still one of my favorite matches, I think, that we've ever done at Freelance. He wrestled Brian Keith, who's in AEW now. BK was a fairly regular for us for a while. He was our legacy champion before he left us. But yeah, I mean, I've also seen, like, we had years ago on a show in November of 2017, I think. We had a match where it was literally the first match. So it was like the opening moves of the first match of the show, and one of the wrestlers kicked another wrestler in the face. Just like he was supposed to be like in the chest or something, and he was like on the ground, and he just straight up caught him right in the face, and he just out cold. And we had to like stop the match and like pause the show, call an ambulance, and they came and took him, like. And that was like the first time I have ever like in my like life had to like, call an ambulance and like be the one in charge, of this, whatever's happening here. And I was like, it kind of shook me. I was like, thankfully there was other wrestlers there that, that helped facilitate that. Shout out Eric Cannon. He's like wrestling dad for that kind of stuff. And cause he runs shows in Minnesota and he's been around for a long time too. So like, and I'm not saying he's old, but he's seasoned. Yeah. But he was extremely helpful in that instance of just being like, he could sense that I was like well over my head and what was happening. And he was just like, I got this, boom. And he was great. The wrestler ended up being okay. He still wrestles now. And we actually ended up having, at the end of that show too, another wrestler clonked his head on the floor, jumping out of the ring. We had to call another ambulance for him, but he didn't go with them. So, but that was like, damn, I was like, I think I want to quit wrestling now. Like it was a rough night. It definitely ran me through the ringer.
You can say that again.
Hey.
And so how do you get through nights like that where you're just like, man, fuck, man, this is not what I was expecting, but obviously you're still doing it, right? So like, how do you get through nights like that, man?
You just, sleep. Sometimes you just got to sleep it off and, get to the next day and then kind of reassess what happened and like that. And like, just kind of, realizing that like accidents happen, like it's just part of the business and part of like wrestling, and just in anything in life, like, you can't really plan for, I could walk out of here now and fall down the stairs and break my leg, but knock on wood.
You signed that liability waiver, right?
Yeah. But yeah, you kind of just are then in having a good support system too. There's a lot of people that are just like, hey, like, I know that was a rough show, but like, we'll bounce back on the next one or whatever, and the fans are always supportive too. Like they understand and they they're never wavering in their support. That is always appreciated.
Are like your fellow wrestlers, are they very supportive of your, like, like of your just career in general? Like, obviously somebody's facing somebody else, but when you go back in the locker room, is everybody like, hey, great match? Or is it like, fuck you guy?
No, I would, for our shows specifically, I can only really speak to that in those regards. That our locker room, I feel like, is pretty like communal, and obviously anywhere there's like little cliques here and there, but ultimately everybody kind of interacts with everybody, and especially with our students from the academy, they're all super supportive of each other, and like they're all like on the balcony there watching everybody's matches and like giving them like applause when they come back and stuff. And it's cool to see because like it didn't really used to be that way. Like when I was coming up, it was very much like everybody kind of just like did their own thing. Nobody watched anybody's matches, like at least our matches. So we would always ask people for like feedback, and they just like nobody would watch us.
It's kind of like when bands go and perform, and then the other bands that they're playing with are like, oh, I'm gonna just go off over here. I'm not gonna watch their band perform or whatever.
Yeah.
So if like a young person wanted to be a part of like freelance wrestling, how would they get in contact with them? What would they have to do to like be a part of it?
So currently we are actually on a pause of accepting new applicants, but if you want to follow our school's social media, the FW Academy on Twitter and Instagram, just follow us on there. We have a contact email on there, or you can DM the Instagram account as well if you want to like start the dialogue for signing up and becoming a wrestler. I don't know exactly when, because we don't really have a location right now for our school. We've been running around like looking for a new spot. We had originally we had established the school at in the warehouse at Pro Wrestling Tees. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Okay. Shout out Pro Wrestling Tees.
Shout out Pro Wrestling Tees. I've actually been working there for about 10 years now as well.
Oh yeah.
It's actually this past year was my 10th year. So
nice.
But yeah, my boss like bought a wrestling ring and was just like, yeah, I asked him if we could start running classes there, and we did, and eventually we were like, we got to like find our own spot, and like we kind of jumped into doing all that stuff, and I definitely kind of maybe we did it a little too fast, but we were in a building for like 3 years up north on Milwaukee Avenue, and it was a beautiful like huge like warehouse space that they kind of like end up putting up walls and stuff for us, and it looked really nice. We were able to host like, training there for a couple years, and like we did a couple student shows inside there. It was really cool. It was really expensive, and we ended up kind of having to like not renew our lease, and like got caught with like having to pay all the like a lot of like hidden property tax like stuff, and like it was like a lot of weird shit that I was like, this for me it genuinely felt like it was something where they were like, oh, this kid doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Let's just they just threw all these like things at me. They're like, hey, you gotta pay this, and I'm like, what? That wasn't like, and I'm like, that wasn't in our lease. And they're like, actually, if you look at paragraph 6, and I'm like, all right. So we were kind of in a rough situation, looking for, another spot, but like, not really knowing where we can go. There's Gali Lucha Libre and Elmhurst has like a training building out there, so we were able to kind of host our classes around their schedule out there. And then we were going to move back to Pro Wrestling Tees, and that didn't end up working out. So right now they're kind of just like making do with where they're at. And I think hopefully by the fall or winter we can hopefully find something else. But I actually do have a good story about us being in this like crazy like debt that we had, and like we were just like, we need to like do like a fundraiser or something to try to like pay this back, or and so we did a merch bundle like through Pro Wrestling Tees, and so it was like you get like a t-shirt. We made these little micro brawlers of like our freelance logo. We turned them into like, the logo is just a skull, but we turned the whole skull into like a little skeleton guy. So it was like a little action figure. And then like a best of DVD and stuff like that. And it was like everybody knew, we promoted it as like, this is going towards like all the proceeds are going to the school to kind of help us like kind of figure out all of this shit that we got going on. And I was like posting it, sharing it out everywhere. And I was kind of like, I have like a lot of high profile contacts, I guess, in my phone that I do not like to, bother ever, because.
Or are they just kidding?
Name drop.
Right now, tell me. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm not.
Well, I will name drop. I will name drop one because it is pertinent to the story. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna like start texting people, and a lot of these people are like are friends of mine as well, like because either I booked them throughout the years, or just like we
It'll be like that.
Yeah, and so I'm like, reaching out like, hey, like if you guys like, I was asking if they could just share the information, like I'm just like retweet it or whatever, like that's all I'm asking. Like if you don't have to, if you really don't want to, like I'm just felt it was worth the ask, and everyone pretty much was like, yeah, absolutely, like anything I can do to help, like, which was really cool. So like I'm like, cool, and then like I was on the phone with Trevor Outlaw, and he was like, a couple years ago he went down and trained with Cody Rhodes at the Nightmare Academy or Nightmare Factory, and we were on the phone, and I'm like, dude, should I hit up Cody and see if he'll share the information? He's like, dude, yeah, you should. Like he's like, I guarantee you he would do it. And I'm like, okay. And sidetrack. The reason I even had his number was from years ago. I was doing extra work for AEW, and they were like, hey, we need someone to wrestle Cody Rhodes. And the guy who was like backstage is like, Knicks, you have the most experience. Yeah, come on over here. And then I just kind of like was like, oh, okay. I thought they were messing with me at first, because people like people like to rib people backstage, and I thought somebody was messing with me at first, but they were like, no, you're actually gonna do it. And I'm like, oh shit. Wow. So that was a whole thing that like I kind of forget happens sometimes, but so I reach out to Cody, and I'm just like, hey, here's the situation. He asked a couple of like follow-up questions, like just what happened, like what so I kind of explained to him like the whole story, and he's like, oh, okay. He goes, I think I could probably help you. You probably can get a little bit more for this. And then he sends me a picture of one of his entrance robes that he comes down to the ring with. They're very expensive, intricately designed, beautiful. American Nightmare robes.
Of course.
And I was like honestly like shocked because like I'm like for one I'm like he don't really know me like that, you know, like for him to just like offer. I mean, he knows me through my job as well. Like when AEW was started and they were at the Bullet Club, you know, a lot of those guys were around the shop. They know Ryan, my boss Ryan, really well. They know that I'm one of Ryan's guys. So maybe that was like, he's like, oh, like, you know, I'll help you up because I know who your loyalties are with. And regardless of his motivations, I mean, it was super fucking appreciated, obviously. And so we sold like raffle tickets to raise money for the school too. And like we raised like between that, like between the raffle for the robe and like the merch bundle thing, we raised like almost like 10 grand, like, which was awesome. Like I mean, it helped so much. And like I'll never forget that, like of Cody going out of his way to like hook us up with that robe. And like, you know, we did it, and this guy from New York won it, who like is like he's like a diehard Cody Rhodes fan too. So I was like, oh man, it's perfect. Like it's going to someone who's going to appreciate it too. And like, it just made me really happy. And yeah, dude, shout out Cody Rhodes. He's the best motherfucker out there.
So wait, you wrestled Cody Rhodes? Is that what I'm getting from this story a little bit?
I did, yeah.
So how did that come about? And then what happened during the match?
Well, so like I said, I was backstage doing extra work, and they kind of just were like, we needed an extra body for this match. It was literally like a 2-minute match, if that. It was Cody's return to television at that time, or something. I don't remember. This is actually like the 8th episode of Dynamite ever. Like it was like really early on.
Yeah, dude.
And yeah, it was just like, it was at the Sears Center in Hoffman Estates. And we were there, and I get tapped for it, and I'm like, oh shit, like cool. And we kind of like talk about what it was going to be about, and I'm just like, yeah, easy, perfect. Like the less shit for me to fuck up. Like I'm down. And I just remember we making small talk, and Cody's like, he's like, is this the biggest crowd you've ever wrestled in front of? I'm just like, man, this is the biggest crowd I'm ever gonna wrestle in front of. He just kind of laughed. And but I was like, honestly, like I'm not really like nervous, because like when I take my glasses off, I'm like, I can't even see past the front row or past the ropes, really.
I feel that, buddy.
Yeah, so I'm like, you just kind of hear it, but it's like, in everybody else, like past that is just like a blur. And I'm like, so I was like, yeah, it doesn't really faze me that much. And I was like, not really like nervous at all for this match. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be cool. I didn't tell anybody. Because I was like, I think it'd be fun. Like a lot of our coworkers were, whenever AEW is in town, or they used to back in the day, my boss would like buy a lot of the guys from the shop front row tickets, so they would be all front row on the hard cam side. And so a lot of those early like pay-per-views and Dynamites and stuff in Chicago, you'll see like the whole front row is PWT staff.
Oh shit.
And so when I come out for that match, like the only person that knew was my boss, and I think one of the designers, Stank. And so I come out like during commercial break, and I'm like just like down the side of the entranceway, and like walk right past everybody, and they're just like what the heck? And like I think I might have told my parents like, hey, make sure you're watching the show tonight or something like that. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm like kind of like chilling at ringside, and then Cody makes his entrance, and like he comes out, and there's like all these big fireballs and shit, and all the way from the ring, from the entranceway, I could feel the heat from the fire, and that's when I got nervous. I was like, damn. Oh shit. I was like, this is real now.
Hell yeah.
And it's so funny too. Like I hate like watching back the clips, because like had I like had any like inkling of thought that I might be on television, I would have gotten like my hair cut, or like you know, like I looked so schlubby, like, and the gear looked I mean, it is what it is. It just kind of just like helps the charm of the match and everything. But so I get the already in the ring, Matt Knicks, and like there was like a little pop for it, you know. I was like, oh shit, like, and we start like the bell rings, we circle around a little bit, and if there wasn't video and like audio proof of this, like people would think I'm a liar. But like I swear to God, like we circle, and right before we go to tie up, like the crowd, or at least part of the crowd, is chanting freelance wrestling.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
And like
That's awesome.
we go to like tie up, and like they're chanting freelance wrestling, freelance wrestling,
yeah.
and Cody like stops and takes a step back, and he like gives me one of these, and I don't know why, but like at that moment,
That's nuts.
when that happened, I was like, oh shit, am I gonna be in trouble for this? Like I don't know, like why I thought like, oh, like I'm taken away from the show or something. I'm like, I had no control over that happening. Like, and also no, like that's stupid. But that's where my brain went right then. And then we have like a quick little match, and it ends with him tapping me out in the figure 4 leg lock, and which I got a really good photo of that from somebody, one of the ringside photographers, which is also funny because that photograph is on Cody Rhodes and Frankie Kazarian. They own a cigar company together. And that photo of him putting me in the figure 4 is on all the wrappers of their cigars.
Oh wow.
Are you getting like any commission for that, bro?
Do you get cigars?
What's funny is I ran into Kazarian on there's like a wrestling cruise every year that they do, like the Jericho one, and we go on it through work because Pro Wrestling Tees is a sponsor, and we get to be a part of it. And he was on there, so I was like, I'm gonna go ask this motherfucker for some free cigars, and very respectfully at least, I didn't like demand it or anything, but like I just thought it would be funny to own it. I don't really smoke cigars. I do like sometimes, but like I think it'd just be cool to have like the package. I don't care about getting any money from it, but like, but yeah, it was just like a crazy little match that happened, and like. To look back on it, I mean, like, there's so many little things too. Like, I grew up watching like a lot of PWG wrestling from the West Coast, is the LA company that like a lot of these AEW guys started from too. And Rick Knox was like one of the main referees there, and like so he's kind of just like an indie, or he was like an indie wrestling referee legend. And to be like, oh yeah, dude, Rick Knox like reffed one of my matches. That's pretty cool. And then like. On the broadcast itself, like Jim Ross, good old JR, was on the call. So like just to have my name come out of Jim Ross's mouth was kind of cool.
That's nuts.
That's stuff that I didn't even think about. Like there's other people are telling me this. They're like, yeah, dude, that's crazy that Jim Ross like was like saying your name. And I'm like, huh. That is kind of cool, I guess. By God, by Knicks.
Well, you gotta think about the amount of names he said in the past. All the names: Hulk Hogan, fucking The Rock,
Stone
Cold Steve Austin, fucking all Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? Like all the names, bro. And then Matt Knicks. It's right there with them, bro. How would that make you feel, man?
It's weird. I mean, it's cool. It's a real like humbling feeling of just like and I always say like I don't wrestle that often anymore. Like I've definitely taken like a real step back over the last couple of years. Trying to get back into it a little bit more, but like, I always said though, I was like, man, if that's like literally the peak of like, of anything I ever do in wrestling, like that's such a sweet little like memory of just like, I got to wrestle on national television, got to wrestle one of the best wrestlers in the world. The crowd chanted from the company that I started. Like, I mean, like it's like a movie, like I'm like, yeah, if that's the coolest thing that's ever happened to me, I'm like, I'm cool with that, I guess. I mean, always strive for more, I guess, or more success or anything. But that's such a great memory that I have that I do remember sometimes.
Now, what would be like your ultimate, like, I've made it point? Like, you have any scenario in your head, like, what would that look like?
Oh man, I mean, at this point,
maybe a match, maybe a bout, maybe I don't know.
I think at this point, like with where my life and my career's gone, I think I've made it moment would be if like freelance, like I could do like freelance as my full-time gig, and like we could, we're making enough money off the shows, we can, maybe do touring schedules and stuff, and like. The academy, help continue to grow that. Like, I feel like that would be, for me, like that would be like, hell yeah. Like just being able to live off of wrestling money would be the move. Being your own boss kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like that would be it. I think so.
Man, hell yeah.
That's cool. Now, you're also the host of the podcast, My Violent Tendencies.
It's actually My Violet Tendencies.
Oh, it's Violet.
Not everything's violent, man.
Damn typo.
He's a wrestler, but he's sweet.
My apologies.
Unless I typed it wrong. That's a great bit then if it is.
Is it? Let me double check. Oh my God. I need to get my eyes checked, bro. My apologies.
No, that's
She's
I just
blank.
saw-
It's blank sheet, bro.
I'm just hallucinating.
that's
I guess.
that's the gag though, because like the whole purple thing, and then like, with wrestling you think, oh, my violent tendencies, but it's my violet tendency.
Violet tendencies. My apologies.
No, you're good.
I obviously made it. I was the one who made a typo there. I rewrote that. My Violet Tendencies. Tell us a little bit about the podcast. How did that come along? And what are your future plans with it?
I mean, it started. I actually started doing it like years ago, and it very cleverly named the Matt Knicks Show, and it was both like a podcast, but like I was doing like vlogs and stuff too, because I was doing a lot more traveling at the time. So like I did a series of like vlogs when I went to Mexico and wrestled. Did some vlogs from when I went to the UK, Canada, but then I was just like it was a lot to keep up with doing. I wish I kept doing it, because a lot of the people I traveled with were very like not supportive of like, why are you filming everything? Like making you feel so self-conscious about it, and I'm just like
Like a little brother.
yeah, and I'm just like but then that's you look at how people create content, you got to just do it, and I've just been so like. Not like what's the word? Imposter syndrome when it comes to doing it too, because I'm just like I would start and do a bunch of episodes and then stop for a while and start again, stop again, start again, stop again. But I'm currently on a start again pace, and I have like a nice little studio that I built out at the Pro Wrestling Tees warehouse space, and it looks very purple, it's very violet, and I mean, the podcast is generally like nothing. Like it's literally just like, what do you guys want to talk about? Like just kind of like that. And some stuff I have like prepared. Like I'm grossly underprepared compared to how you guys had me. Like I like this. Like this is great. Like you had like, oh, give me a couple things so that we can play off of and stuff. And I'm like, that's so much better than for us. Like we just like get high and then just sit down and be like start talking about food and stuff, and then just see where the conversation goes.
My grandfather always told me a poor plan is better than no plan.
Low key, I wish we can get high in here, man. I want to join so bad and talk about food all night, bro. Fuck
until we get our own spot.
Soon,
One day, very soon. So who do you have on the show? What do you guys usually talk about?
I generally like it. It started off with being wrestlers, like wrestler interviews and stuff. So I have like a lot of like stuff on like the YouTube and our podcast feed with like different wrestlers, where it's like I'll ask them questions, like wrestling questions, but also like we talk about other random shit too. But then that kind of turned into just like we can barely talk about wrestling, because like that's the thing too, is like, a lot of these wrestlers, like that's all they talk about on these podcasts. Like people, a lot of the wrestling podcasts will ask them the same questions of like, what made you like wrestling first, and like which they're not awful questions to do, because obviously like we know those answers pretty well and they're easy, but sometimes it's fun to just like how this is, and we're just like chilling and talking, and that's basically how that goes. But
hell yeah.
Now it says on your bio here, we'll talk your ears off about aliens, UFOs, or Dragon Ball Z.
All right. What's your favorite Dragon Ball Z character, man? And it can't be Krillin.
Well, Krillin's my guy, but
unfortunately, you can't say that one.
Well, I have 2 Vegeta tattoos, so
Put them into the cam.
I got this one is the Saiyan crest with a Chicago flag draped over it.
Oh shit, that's
cool.
The
And
real
then
Chicago motherfucker.
This one
Oh, another Vegeta one.
is the bad man.
Kind of looks like the Death Note goblin.
Oh yeah. Yeah, with the teeth.
Yeah.
I have like another, like I was like, I'm saving this whole arm for like more Dragon Ball Z inspired tattoos. I have like a nice like big old Quetzalcoatl tattoo on my arm over here.
Awesome.
I'm thinking about doing like a Shenron on this arm in the same style as this, like in that Mayan like chiseled style, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Break down the
Vegeta's-
Quetzalcoatl. Do you think it's from the aliens? Do you think what do you think is the lure behind it? I've done a lot of research on it myself. I watched a lot of Graham Hancock. And I've seen so many. What do you think the lure behind it is?
I think so.
And maybe for those who don't know what it is, if you can define Quetzalcoatl again.
Quetzalcoatl, I believe is the Mayan god of, or is it Aztec or Mayan? I'm terrible at this, but like, I think they have like similar gods in both ones, but I think Quetzalcoatl might be Aztec.
Jamie, look it up.
I'm so bad. That's like literally getting like kanji tattoos of like, oh, it says this, and it actually says like shithead.
Speaking of, I got this guy, and I don't even know what that means. It should say knife. This little.
I know a little bit of that. That means chicken stir fry.
Yeah.
I was supposed to say knife. Apparently, it means chicken stir fry.
So I got a good definition here. The Quetzalcoatl, meaning feathered serpent, is a predominant deity in Mesoamerican mythology, particularly among the Aztecs. He's associated with wind, sky, earth, fertility, dawn, and knowledge, and is also considered a patron of the Aztec priests.
So
learning and arts.
It's a smart fucking machine.
Yeah.
Well, now that's the thing, is that's what a lot of the lure behind it is, because the Quetzalcoatl is often depicted as a feathered serpent, and his legends involve creation, bringing maize to humanity, and even facing conflict with other deities. Yeah.
It's a toxic smart fucking machine. Just kidding.
But some people will say that a flying serpent, like if it was like a UFO or something, they would see it as this like flying being that came to Earth. There's a lot of lure behind it. Yeah. Graham Hancock's got a lot of cool episodes on it.
It's actually funny that you say that, because like, so like a lot of the stuff that I've been into lately too is been like researching, like independent research, I guess, because I don't work for no laboratory, not yet. But like not like alternate reality, but like, so I read this book called The Cosmic Serpent that is like, it's a story, the stories from this anthropologist who went down to like the Peruvian rainforest and like was living with these tribes down there, because they like, and this is in like the 70s or early 80s, maybe. I think it was in the 80s. And he basically was just like, listen, like these guys out in the rainforest, like they know what everything out here does. Like everything, all these plants, like this does this, this does this. Like how do they figure this shit out? Like I got to go and figure this out. So he went down there and lived with them for like years, and was like learning with them. And then the shamans would just be like, yeah, like the ayahuasca told us. And the ayahuasca, for anybody that doesn't know, like ayahuasca is like a tea ceremony that they do, like by combining like leaves and like the roots from two different plants, I think, but you drink it, and it's like, it's a very intense like psychedelic trip that usually makes you kind of excrete from both ends as well. That's what it's famously known for. But the people would say that like it's so the way that in the book that he gets it described to him from like one of the shamans is that like, so imagine there's like a radio on your table right here, and right now there's all these radio waves and signals flying right past us, but we can't see any of it. And this radio is just sitting there. It's not doing anything until you turn it on. And once you turn it on, then it starts to broadcast all those signals. So in the same sense, it's like we are like the conduit, and we can't experience anything around us. Like they talk about listening and talking to the spirits of the forest. And by drinking the tea, it kind of like removes that like layer of reality away, allegedly, that you can like talk to and they talk about like snakes being a real big sign of creation, the double helix. Like they see like you'll see a lot of double helix snakes in these like experiences and stuff, and like you could like talk to them, and like it's crazy. I mean, it's really like interesting, like eye-opening stuff that I'm like, clearly there's something to this, like, you know, in a holistic type of way. Maybe you're not like legitimately like passing through like a different reality, but like just to you know, alter your consciousness that way, and then leave it with new information, I think is like pretty freaking cool. Like I mean I don't know where I could go. I mean, I reached out to somebody that I know that has gone to I reached out to somebody who knows somebody who then got in contact with me that has gone to an ayahuasca retreat and kind of gave me like the details of like how it goes down. Like there's a lot of these places that'll like, you kind of like pay like it's like a resort kind of, like they take care of you there, that you get all your meals and stuff. And then like you do like 3 different like ayahuasca ceremonies, and it especially if you're somebody, I feel like that is like maybe like not like lost, but like you don't know your like your way in life, and you're trying to figure out like your purpose and stuff. I think that I'm basically describing myself, and you know, I feel like it's something that I want to experience and kind of see, like, because it generally changes you, like when you come out of it, like in a positive way. You know, it's not like you're like brain dead or something like that, but it's like this like you know, relief, you know, ego death, whatever you want to call it, like something that like, you know, helps you make more sense of the world, I think.
A lot of the times people that like go to these ayahuasca retreats, they're looking for like some sort of answer. They're like, oh, well, I went through this emotional whatever. I'm doing this ayahuasca retreat because I want to figure out the rest of my life or whatever. And yeah, man, like it's pretty much like an ego death kind of. I used to do a lot of acid back in the day, like a lot of fucking acid. And one time I died, man, like it makes you, as somebody that you probably think you're on top of the world and you're on top of everybody, like it kind of like kills your, you know, ego death. You know what I mean?
Ego
like
death, yeah.
you kills your ego. You're like, okay, I'm no better than the homeless person out there. You know what I mean? Like, and it's pretty wild because ayahuasca does that times 10. You know what I mean? Especially if we do those like really cool retreats, man. Like,
Yeah,
those are pretty cool. I know some of them happen in Peru. Because so my family's from South America, and so I've been to Ecuador a bunch, and in Peru, they have a lot of shamans there that do like these ayahuasca trips and stuff like that. And yeah, man, I've always wanted to try one.
Yeah.
I got a connection. I know a guy.
Shit,
I
let's
really
do it.
I really do. We should. Let's make a vacay.
We
But
could
you know
vlog
what?
the whole trip.
Let's go.
I think one of the cool things that you mentioned, though, is when you say that there's all these frequencies around us, and unless you turn that radio on, you can't really hear them. And when people do turn that radio on and they feel and they hear these things and they see them, a lot of them define the same things that they see as these deities, which are like animal species of animals that like may be around, may not be around. But again, going back to the Quetzalcoatl, they say that that's one of the big things that they see is like a flying winged serpent. But it makes you think, like, are dragons real? You know, if people are seeing that, was that an actual thing that lived? I mean, we had dinosaurs. Who's to say that, like, you know, fuck Joy Behar, like, dragons are real? I don't know. That's
Dude,
my opinion.
No, I think, I truly think, like, I mean, the more we kind of like discover, I guess, like it's like showing us like how many things in our past we were just told wrong things. Mm-hmm. Like whether it be on purpose or not, like there's a lot of things that we're finding out now that we were very wrong about. And I now I'm starting to question like some of our like world history and just being like, what if there are certain things like dragons and stuff, like what if like those were like actual creatures that were on our earth at some point, but like are just kind of getting like lost in the shuffle with like dinosaur bones and stuff, like, or, you know,
I mean, how do you have that many cultures across the entire world all depicting flying serpents? And these people didn't have communication with each other.
No.
How do you
Allegedly.
Allegedly. maybe the flying serpents
We had
were
aliens.
the communicators. I don't know.
Sorry, guys.
Well,
Sorry to burst you guys' bubble, but we had aliens way back when.
But maybe that's what it was, though. You know what I mean? Like how is like the Chinese zodiac? Like there's all these real life animals, and then there's a dragon.
Aliens.
You look at like medieval culture. There's giants, and there's fairies, and then there's dragons.
Going back to like my acid topic, man. One time I had a trip where I was all like,
sorry, fuck Joy Behar. I just want to say it again. Dragons are real.
Dragons are real. Give me a fucking dragon, bro.
They were real.
I took a bunch of acid and I was all like, maybe this is what so I don't know if you guys know this, but after you take like I think like 2 or 3 tabs of acid, you're technically considered clinically insane. Did you know that?
Now I do.
Yeah. So after you take like a certain amount of like I forgot how many it is, like 2, 3, 4, whatever, you're considered clinically insane. And so the government does that. At least that's what I think. Allegedly, right? I'm not saying it's the truth, but what I think is
it's a conspiracy.
The government says that because they don't want you to take enough, so that because when you take psychedelics, that's what the real world is like. You know what I mean? That's the real world.
So it's like a fake warning label.
And then when you're off it, it's all like this is what the government, like all the fucking shit that they spray on the fucking clouds or whatever the fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean?
When you take something like psilocybin mushrooms, people say that it's very much like a religious experience, and they feel more in tune with the world, and they see the shit that isn't always
and
there.
So that was my like conspiracy, like maybe this is what the world really is, and the government's telling us not to because they want to control us.
Well, that's the thing too with like a lot of this UFO talk. Like we like forever. Like I mean, I've been obsessed with like UFO talk for like ever, and it's always been like, the talk of like, oh, aliens, like the Greys or like little green men or anything like that. And now I feel like the conversation is totally shifted to like interdimensional beings is what is the word they keep throwing around. And like I've heard them say that, or like light beings. And it's like, they're not necessarily like from a different planet, but they live here. But like the reality is just layered on top of ours, that we just can't perceive it.
It's like a 4th or 5th dimension type of thing, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
And I'm like, I'm like, well, I guess that makes. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, legit, like logically, I guess that could make sense. Just as much sense as aliens coming from a different planet, obviously. And there's who's to say that isn't also true?
Right. Well, recently the government admitted that there's like UFOs flying around. Like,
oh yeah.
You remember that? Like, there's unidentified fucking objects flying around this earth and shit, and they're like, yeah, it's fucking real. So I mean, what else is real that they're not telling us? You know what I mean?
When you look at time as linear, it opens up a lot more possibility for this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
I got a good time conspiracy for you.
Dude, lay it on us.
Let's go.
So it's like it's a few different things kind of wrapped into one. So I have it kind of involves ghosts as well.
Okay.
So the idea would be that everything that happened, is happening, or will happen is all happening at the exact same moment. And it's just the way, like, because we, like you said, time being perceived as a linear function. It's just that's how we can like rationalize it. Like you start here, you stop here. You're born, you die. Like that's the easiest way to kind of like measure the passage of time. But what if it is like literally just everything is just kind of like happening all at once in this like, I don't want to say time vortex because it sounds so science fiction-y, but like just like layered on top of each other. And the way that like time travel could potentially work is that because everything's happening at the same time, you're literally just tuning the frequency of whatever, like the device that you're using to just like focus in on the exact time that you're trying to go to. And when people see ghosts, they're not ghosts. You're just seeing like this like weird mirage of like people literally living their day to day. Because these people say like, oh, I saw this ghost and he was just like walking, or like, they're just doing stuff. They're not jumping out and like spooking you like that. Like, you're just kind of like, people would speculate like maybe these spirits are like stuck in a loop or something, or whatever, it could be. But I was thinking about it. I'm like, what if it's literally just like, it's like a segment of reality that is just a little bit thinner than others, and you're kind of seeing this weird little like friction of somebody else's life happening. Like maybe they can't see you, but you could see them. I mean, like,
that makes a lot of sense.
It's crazy because like I'm like it sounds like science fiction or just like but it like I'm like, man, it makes just as much sense about anything else. Like, why can't that be true?
People believe in God.
Yeah.
You ever seen The Ghost Whisperer?
No.
Yeah.
It's
that
a show.
kooky old lady from Long Island, yeah, with the hair. Yeah. I've been wanting to go on her show, but I'm like easy pickings. Yeah. But that was going to be my next question. Is you brought up religion? Is that I think people would have mass panic if you introduce this theory that time is linear and there's glitches in time, because a lot of people do believe in heaven and hell. They believe in souls. They believe in spirits who maybe have not left the body or left Earth to another plane of existence, as religion knows it nowadays. But I think a lot of the issue, even with the UFOs and talking about ghosts, and your theory on that is, if that were true, I don't know if they would tell the public, because all of their previous perceptions of heaven and hell, good and bad, it all just kind of goes down a swirling toilet.
Mass panic, bro.
Well, have you heard of the what is it called? Chronovisor.
I've heard of coronavirus.
Not coronavirus.
I was about to say, yeah.
I think it's called the chronovisor. I might be wrong on that, but it is this like device that was invented by this priest. If you're looking it up, just search Chronovisor Vatican, because they have it.
Jamie, look it up.
But it was
someday.
It was invented by this priest who was like also like a scientist as well.
I've read about this. Yeah.
But he go ahead and read the thing,
okay.
because I don't want to butcher that.
The chronovisor is a purported. I'm not the best reader, kids, so stay tuned.
Boy only went to third grade, unfortunately.
I'm educated. The chronovisor is a purported time viewing device, a secret window into time, allegedly created by Father Pellegrino Ernetti and others, including famed scientists with the Vatican. The device was said to use electromagnetic echoes of the past to allow viewers to observe historical events. The story is a popular conspiracy theory with claims that the Vatican is concealing this technology and its related secrets. Interesting.
Yeah, they claimed that it was dangerous if it fell into the wrong hands, because so the way they kind of explained that it worked is that like everything kind of leaves like residual energy. Like that's
sounds like a record player.
Kind of. But I mean, like everything in existence leaves residual energy, and the idea is that like if you can pinpoint the frequency of like specific events in time, like that, you could. They're saying that you could use it to like spy on your enemies, or like you could listen in on like secret conversations, because it's essentially like a fly on the wall. And if that indeed did exist, and there's like controversy behind it, because like there's like photos that were like released that were like allegedly depicting like Jesus, like an actual picture of Jesus like walking with somebody. Whoa. And like something, yeah, it's real, and they look creepy, and I think they also might have been proven like debunked as like fake, but that it's still like like whenever something like that is like debunked, like, oh, that was debunked, it was fake. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's true, but also maybe there's like an element of this that could be true, that they're just like trying to throw you off the scent. And I mean, that's the whole fun with conspiracies. You can kind of like go back and forth with it forever, if you really wanted to. But I
Like
think
if
that's
it were real, would they actually tell the common person?
right.
You know?
Absolutely not.
Hell no.
It would cause panic, and it would send the world into war for sure. Like to have that type of technology is insane, and that's kind of like what I was speaking to as well of like time kind of all happening at once, and like being able to tune in onto your television that way. Like I feel like, you know, maybe there is something to it. Like I don't know how any of that stuff works, and I don't pretend that I do, but like sometimes it just kind of like, you know, makes sense, I guess. I don't know.
Right. I've been using the word plausible a lot more lately.
Yeah, it
After
definitely seems plausible.
Mythbusters, right? Like, I'm not saying I believe it, but it's plausible. It totally could be.
You know, nowadays, like
I believe, yeah, there's so much crazy shit that's happening in the world that I'm like, never did, like you said, how the government was like, yes, there are things flying around that we do not know where they come from, and we don't think they're of earthly origin.
But now here's the crazy, man. Like before, we were like, yeah, tell us that it's true, and we would all been going nuts for it, man. And now just so much shit, like you said, just like, you know, whatever is possible now, like because of the internet. Now we're like, oh, aliens are real. Oh, okay, yeah, we knew that already.
Like, we know.
Do you guys remember that Miami Mall incident that happened a couple years ago? It was for anybody that's not familiar, there was like an incident at this mall in Miami that like allegedly the official story is that a bunch of teenagers were lighting off fireworks and it caused like a panic and like, but if anybody's seen the video or photos of the outside of that mall, they called every single police officer in the state of Florida. It looked like there was so many police officers, even more than you would even expect for like a shooting. And from everybody that was there, like people that were there claiming, they were like, portals opened up inside this mall and these giant tall like creatures like came crawling out of them, and like people were like freaking out. And like there's people that were like there was like officers and like, you know, the FBI like collecting people's phones and stuff when they were leaving. Like as they were leaving the building, people were getting their phones taken from them, and yeah, there's a lot of like weird like and again, you take it with a grain of salt because, you know, with everything with AI and stuff now, like you don't know what's real, what's not. Exactly. But there's some like alleged leaked videos of like stuff that from that incident that like is a little interesting, and like I mean the amount of like precaution that they took for that, and to then just be like, yo, it was just kids, you know, it's like
What the
bullshit. Like something happened here, like, and it's crazy too because that happened, and when we were going down for one of those cruises, that happened the day before when we were flying into Miami. So like we were like, yo, let's go to that fucking mall. Like we didn't end up going, but like
You're gonna clap cheeks with an alien.
yeah. Dude, there's even some like weird ass video too from like a helicopter or some shit that like it looks like
I saw that. It looked like a tall person. You saw the shadow. And
yeah,
everything.
like it just it doesn't look
But
right.
but it was distorted. Yeah, you know, I think it's really hard. Like back in the day, there were like alien hoaxes in the 90s and stuff because people were able to like manipulate film in a certain way. But now it's so hard. Like you can't go on Instagram or TikTok without seeing some AI video of Donald Trump as a cat. You know,
Yeah.
but it looks so real and convincing. And you're like, whoa. Yeah, yeah. Which are hilarious, but you can't depict real and fake nowadays, especially now because the computers are just so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just gonna be a testament to the people. It's one of those things that like people, you know, maybe 10 years down the line, there's gonna be a new Netflix movie about what happened at the Miami Mall, and
Yeah.
because there's got to be something. I think that it's been too long of people trying to cover it up, and the Men in Black trying to keep it at bay. I don't know. Something's alert.
I mean, there's so much stuff now that I'm like reading about, like, of you know, if could there have been a, you know, super advanced civilization that was on Earth prior to us, like our civilization, and that's like when you hear people talk about like Atlantis or like Tartaria or what's the other one, Lemuria. These are all like lost continents that like allegedly like sunk into the ocean. And there was an event that happened what the hell is it called? Essentially, it was a large melting of ice on the polar ice caps that literally flooded the world like almost overnight. And a lot of
Younger Dryas.
younger Dryas. Yes, that's what it was.
I was Googling it and I'm like, I fucking know this. What is it? What is it?
We watched the same YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie.
All right.
But that's like people talk about like the flood myths all over the world, and like that the Younger Dryas event is what they call back to, is like maybe that was like, again, like all these different civilizations across the world have all these similar stories and legends about dragons and stuff. They all have the same stories about like a flood myth, a flood story. So I mean, like clearly that happened. I mean, there's physical proof of like flooding all over the world. Like, you know, they find like sunken towns and stuff all the time, and like the what is it, the Mediterranean Sea.
There you go.
Brain fart. But I'm like, man, like, you know, there could be so much, like there's a fun conspiracy that like that we're like actually living in the like 1700s right now, because like there was like a king that was just like, yeah, I want to like line up the calendar to like this day, so this is the year now. And so there's just like, so there's, I forget that, but that is like a conspiracy that like that there's like hundreds of years of like history that has just like been erased because somebody was just like, yeah, this is what the year is now.
What the fuck?
And that's why I'm saying, like, man, there's so much that we're like learning now, or like, you know, they think that like, you know, the year that they think that like humans like first appeared on Earth like gets pushed back every so often now, and like they're like finding more and more like evidence of like civilizations like thousands of years beyond like where they were expecting humans to be. And like you look at like the Egyptians, like all the pyramids and stuff like that, the Egyptians say that shit was here when we got here. So who built that stuff, you know?
Well, think about this, man. Some of us have Neanderthal genes in us.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so, like, obviously there were humans, like Homo sapiens, while there were Neanderthals. You know what I mean? So obviously they had to mate it in order for us to have, you know, Neanderthal genes in us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's fucking nuts, man.
But even for like an elevated species, like you were saying, to have a smart species who was much more advanced than you know, Neanderthals and primitive beings, for them to fly off and then maybe come back, and in all these they depict this flying serpent that came back and they taught us agriculture,
Yeah.
they taught us planting, and they taught us how to build things. And it's almost like, all right, like why would they come all this way? The ambulance is coming to get us.
That's the ambulance.
They're saying
that's the
you're
blood.
saying too much.
Cut him off. Hey, look into my pen. Flash. But for them to all claim that these flying serpent beings come back to teach them different ways, it's like, okay, why would they do that unless they were some form of us?
I was gonna say,
try
who
to
are
help
these
them
serpents,
out.
bro? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Were they really serpents?
Right.
Was it just like was it just the grays?
Have you now are you guys familiar with the Anunnaki?
Yeah.
Very familiar. Yes, sir.
Like some
I've
lizard
seen all the
people?
National Geographic documentaries.
I can't say that there's only like humans can't be the only like leading species on this planet. I'm
Hell no.
sorry.
No.
We're too stupid. We're too stupid.
Honestly. And then with the whole like government admitting that there are UFOs, like, yeah, no, we're definitely not the only species in the galaxy, bro. Like,
Right.
there's I really like to refer to South Park sometimes. I'm like, we're just like
Credible source.
We're just the yeah. I mean, shit, man. You ever seen South Park? Yeah. We're just the galaxy's entertainment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, they're watching us on TV right now. Like,
They were like, look at these fucking idiots talking to a microphone.
Or like a petri dish for them to watch. Like,
Oh.
let's introduce sickness. Let's give them all smart devices.
What happens if only 1% becomes rich?
Right?
but not. I mean, that's like one of my favorite like things like to think about is like the idea that like we were created by like an extraterrestrial race, and like through like genetic engineering, like we were able to like take primitive beings on this planet, and then kind of insert their genes into us and like make an intelligent, more intelligent species. And like they even talk about how like the original like humans, or like they could live to like be over 100 years old, like 100 and something years old. Like they talk about this in like in the Bible, in the book of Enoch. They say how like I think Enoch was like 120 something years old. And that one's crazy too, because like there's so many times they talk about like people like going to heaven and stuff like that. Like they literally, like Enoch literally gets taken. They're like he's like he went to heaven and came back, and he like in his like journal or whatever like described everything that he saw like in heaven, and like talked about it being and I think of it being like almost like not an abduction, but like they took him up in a craft or something, because he talks about it being like there was like high vaulted ceilings and stuff like in heaven. I don't know, like maybe.
Shit, man.
But it's
Not all
interesting.
puffy clouds.
And then after that, they cut they were like, all right, once the humans started, or they started the Anunnaki that were there, the Watchers, they started like mating with the women. And they created, that's when like more violent humans started coming about. And that if you've ever heard like the Nephilim giants and stuff like that, that's like the direct offspring between like Anunnaki and a human. There's these giants that like would then eat people. Like they were just eating humans. So like humans were fighting with them. And like, that's the whole, like in that story, like that conspiracy is that that's the cause of the Younger Dryas event, is that there was like, yo, we got way too many of our kids running around there eating motherfuckers. Like we gotta start over. And they like, whether it been a natural event, occurring event, or like something that they, shot a laser at the polar ice caps and like melted everything super fast. Like something happened that caused all that ice to melt instantaneously, and for sea levels to rise like hundreds and hundreds of feet, like instantly. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, it seems like plausible. Like you said, like, I'm not saying like that I believe this for fact, but like when you lay it out to me like this, I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, if somebody came, if they like tomorrow, they were on the news, all right, guys, here's the real history of how humans came out, and then that they just told us that story, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. Like that sounds like plausible. I'd believe it. I guess I'm just that damn gullible then, but.
Fuck no,
Or
bro.
you'd be like, I've been on this track for a while now,
Bro.
man.
I already knew this shit.
It's so funny because like I have like friends and stuff that are like that, like I know I've been like into this shit for like ever. They know I've been into this stuff forever. So like, but like they'll be like, hey, you hear about this Anunnaki stuff? And I'd be like, let me tell you. And then they're
What
like,
have I?
then they're like generally like sometimes my friends are like, Jesus, I didn't know you like knew that much about it. Or like I'm like, oh yeah, like this is my hobby. Like, I guess that is my hobby. Like, I always think about like people are like, what is some hobbies that you have? And I'm like, I don't really have any hobbies. Like, one could make the comparison that my wrestling career is a hobby, but no, I mean, like I was like, I don't know, like I play video games, like go to concerts and stuff. But like, I guess my general hobby is like has been like doing independent research on like. I've generally thought about going back to school to like study like anthropology or something like that, because this is like something that I'm so like, I get hyper focused on shit real easy too. But like thinking about like our world's history, and especially like ancient cultures and stuff like that, and like how much of it that we are just going off of the the words of some old white dudes that just were like, this is the way it was, and who knows, like with the king that changed the calendar, like, how many times does that happen? How many things that were true in history, or like that were like written history through different cultures, that they were just like, we don't like how this is happening. They crumple it up and they write their own version of it, and that's just the version that we know, because that's what we only know what we know. The
history book is what they want.
Christopher Columbus, cough.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm so curious, because like the search for knowledge is the only thing that keeps me going now. And like, just to be like, I'm just curious, I want to know like what's real, or what actually happened, or like the real story of certain civilizations and stuff. And sometimes the only way you can find that out is by going to the source.
Going to YouTube.
or YouTube.
It's an interesting thought though of what you were saying with anthropology, it would really be extraterrestrial anthropology in a sense. If you have these claims that, you know, aliens have started the human race, and I'm with you on that.
That could be the start of a whole new field,
right? I mean, but there's got to be some traction that people have picked up, you know. But I was reading this thing about the grays, the little gray aliens that pop out of the UFO that we all know and love. They were saying that they plausibly could have been engineered to be able to fly through space, because if you were to put a human into a UFO, they would not be able to handle the G-forces, let alone some like other earthling type creature. But if you genetically modify a little gray who's able to withstand these G-forces, you can have your offspring go from one planet to another because you've made them this way, and they can carry a message, and they are vaguely similar to us in a way, and maybe
anthropomorphic for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. Have you heard that theory at all, that they could potentially be modified?
Yeah, I've heard that they kind of describe them as like biological drones.
Yeah.
That they're kind of like these like they are like grown kind of, or like engineered, and they're like biological, like to the touch or whatever. But like there's a story of like something like there was like a craft that came down, and on one of the retrieval missions, they like the door opened up and they went inside, and like there was just a bunch of the grays just kind of like chilling in there. Like they were just like standing around, and like they went in and just like grabbed it by the hand and like walked it out of the ship, and it just followed them. And then they took them out, and I think they like brought it back to their base, and it eventually died just from being in our atmosphere or something. Like, so they did an autopsy on it, and it didn't have a stomach or anything, but it had a working like respiratory system, for then blood and stuff, like, but no stomach or anything. It doesn't need to eat, and like, so it's like they talk about it being like they're literally, like you said, like drones to be able to like, and who's to say if there's not like a sense of like technology behind it as well, like maybe they're like being controlled somewhere else, like from a further distance. But yeah, they talk about that being like the like what you said with like the G-forces and stuff, like it would be like physically impossible. Although they do say like that they may have figured out like the way to like travel through like faster than the speed of light is and it's so funny because I just like when I heard it described to me, I go, that's how the Planet Express ship works. And it's like the idea is that literally these crafts like create their own like pocket of like gravity that when they move, they are staying stationary, and the universe is moving around it.
It's called time travel, my guys.
Yeah.
Time is linear.
To be able to move faster than the speed of light is impossible. But if you can warp the gravity behind it, and like, yeah, I don't. That's too high for my pay grade to understand that.
Now we're traveling time.
Yeah. And then I just remember on Futurama they had that's how they explain that their ship works, and they literally show it like pause, and then the whole world is like spinning behind it, and then they like unpauses, and they're like, all right, we're here. Like, I'm like, that, I guess that's plausible.
Shit. I mean, yeah, bro.
I mean, you have physicists writing the show Futurama.
Yeah.
Totally plausible. Yeah.
No, and this is like that theory or whatever is what was put out by like of actual scientists or whatever. Like they haven't tested it, obviously, allegedly. Maybe they have, and we just don't know about it. But I mean, that could be the secret to interstellar travel, you know, in the future. Because I think, man, that's all I want to do at this point. I want to leave this planet for a lot of reasons, but I mean, just to be able to like to travel the stars and to like experience things for the first time, like any human like experiencing something for the first time, like that would be like truly a once in a lifetime opportunity.
If you can travel anywhere in the entire universe aside from Uranus, where would you like to travel to?
Why not Uranus?
Oh.
I mean, you can travel to Uranus.
I don't know. I mean,
Uranus.
Sure, bud.
I would. I had like a little solar system like LED thing that would like read like facts and stuff of it, like when I was a kid, and they would always call it Uranus, and I was like, that's not what it's called, it's Uranus. But I would always laugh when it's like Uranus. Like, whatever, loser.
If somebody says fart right now, I'd still laugh. There you go.
Uranus fart.
Oh shit.
I don't really know, like, I guess, like, anywhere in the universe. I don't know what is out there, so I don't know where to go. But I mean, like, to go to, like, to be on the moon would be cool. You know, to go to Mars. Like, I know they're trying to get people to Mars. I mean, I'm into that idea, but I don't know if I'm into the being on the first trip there.
You'd probably die before you get there.
Honestly,
Or you would die once you get there.
Let
Yeah.
the guinea pigs figure it out.
that would be the worst. Like, you spend this whole time getting there. It's like, all right, we're here,
And then you die.
and then you just die immediately. It's like,
Yeah.
Great.
I'll wait at least 10 years after they've done it the first time. And then I'll be like, okay, maybe it's safe to do it.
yeah, when Mars 2 or Mars 3 comes out.
Yeah. Mars 5. We'll get everything else except Mars 5.
How about you, Jay Smooth? If you can travel anywhere in the universe, where do you think you would go travel?
Obviously Uranus.
Minus?
If I could travel anywhere in the world, man, fuck, dude. Like, I mean,
In the
In the
universe.
universe, yeah, that's a big ask, bro. Because first of all, I don't know if I'll be able to survive in anywhere else in the universe. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mars comes to mind, but like, fuck, dude.
You know what would be crazy too? They always talk about like multiverse theory. I always think about it like what if like you just get in a spaceship and you just drive, you know, let's say we can travel faster than the speed of light, and so we could just drive wherever, and you just drive far enough, and then eventually you just bump into another Earth. Like what if it's just like that, and there's just like and that would be like, I don't know, like not necessarily another reality, but like,
But it would be another reality, though.
Right.
essentially, yeah.
Like a twin planet of sorts.
Yeah.
That was going to be my answer. I would want to go to an Earth that like really has their shit together, so I can come back with good ideas.
Yeah,
You know
and
what
then
I
you
mean?
can
Like,
save Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Like this planet's doing like X, Y, and Z.
We got Trump.
you know, right? Yeah, we got this guy in office. If aliens were like, "Take me your leader," sure as shit, not taking him to him.
Sure.
No.
Here,
I'm
you
gonna say I'm the leader, bitch. Take me and then show me your ways and bring me back. But you know what I mean, though, to have that. If you were able to, I would want to. Yeah, go somewhere like that where they really got it figured out. They've got solar electricity. They've got
Clean
no
burning
crime.
fuel.
Yeah, clean burning fuel. People are not enslaved to work all the time, you know, just to see the ethics of like how that world would operate, just to bring back.
Keep dreaming, buddy.
Well, they talk about how they talk about how like they're like, well, how come the aliens haven't come back? How come they haven't done this, done that? And it's
'Cause
like
the Earth sucks.
They've never left. They never left. They're here.
there's a really I heard the story before, but I just heard like the actual like audio of it recently. There's a story of like this pilot in Mexico, and he's getting his pilot license, right? He's gonna do his first ever solo flight, and they're like, all right, you're gonna go up, you're gonna fly, you're gonna do a loop, and you're gonna come back down, just to prove that you can do it without freaking out, you know. So he goes up and he goes, and then at a certain point, he just like passes out or something, and then because he's like, he wakes up and he's super far off course, like he's over the ocean, wherever he was in central Mexico, it would have taken him 3-4 hours to get to the coast. So they're like, yo, where the hell did you come from? Like they're on the radio with him, talking to him, and all of this conversation is recorded, like on their whatever receiving system that they have. And they're talking about like, I don't know. And he's like looking at his fuel gauges, like the fuel, it didn't match up. Like he has way too much fuel. Like if he would have passed out and flown 4 hours, like
He would, yeah.
there would be way less fuel. So it's like he basically just disappeared from one location and reappeared somewhere else.
Wow.
And he was like, what the fuck? Like freaking out. And they're like asking him all these questions. And then he's like, obviously like really shook because he's like, what the fuck just happened? And he's like, they're like, is there anybody else on the plane with you? And he's like, no, I'm here by myself. And they're just like, are you sure that there's nobody else there? And he's like, yeah, no, he explains the situation. They're like, okay, well, and then they explain to him that they had a whole conversation with this guy, like maybe 10, 15 minutes before this, that he has no recollection of it. And all of this audio of it is also like recorded and stuff. Like I heard it all for the first time, but it's all in Spanish. So you read it with I don't speak Spanish, but read it with the subtitles on. But essentially like there's like a voice like talking through him to these people. Like they're asking like, hey, who is this? Like you're in our airspace. And then he's just like, I'm speaking through this one because, he's speaking, we can't speak to you directly or whatever. Whoa. We're here to tell you that like, humanity, you guys are the only, like, basically telling like you guys are the only like species in the universe that like does war, like to like kill each other, and like telling them like, you guys got to figure this shit out. You have to stop doing nuclear stuff. Like there's so many stories that I've heard over the years of like people getting abducted and coming back with these same, like, they're like, hey, we were just told, like basically getting scolded by these aliens, be like, yo, y'all motherfuckers got to shape up because you're killing each other down there and you're going to blow up your own planet. And, so it's spooky. And then they're like, yeah, like he was there by himself, and like they took over his body or some shit. I don't know. Whoa. But it's like, it's really creepy. But that's like the thing is like, why haven't they come back to us and to like teach us anything? And if you've seen, there's like, they said something about it recently that there's like this craft that's like, allegedly, there's like something very large, something is heading directly towards Earth right now. And there's speculation that it may be a like alien craft. And it even like some of the like photos that they've shown from like the James Webb telescope, it looks like a fucking rainbow is flying at us. Like,
some of them have even said it's like a hostile like air thing that like, it might come to do some damage.
Yeah, that is definitely. I mean, everyone's gonna, I think, freak out initially too, even if it is like a peaceful mission or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like people are gonna freak out regardless.
Freak the fuck out, yeah, for sure. Would you ever incorporate any of these like conspiracy theories into your wrestling gimmick?
There is a wrestler in Minnesota that does a gimmick is he's a conspiracy theorist, and he like comes out with like the tinfoil hat and everything. Of course. Brandon Gore is his name. Oh, it's really entertaining. So I wouldn't want to step on his toes, but like if we ever were a tag team, we could definitely do a tinfoil hat tag team.
Hell yeah. Now, earlier, I asked you to demonstrate a move on me real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we're getting about that time where we maybe should demonstrate a move. I've had a couple wrestlers on here before. They've done chops, they've done like punches, they've done kicks or whatever. You had a special move you want to demonstrate, a bell ringing move.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what do you want to do?
On him, baby.
What do you want to do over here?
Yeah, we'll do it in that camera right over there. So,
I brought my striped shirt in case if I need to break these two up.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Are we in frame?
Let me pull this a little. Also, I'm gonna crank that mic up a bit.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So what do I do?
We're gonna do a fancy one. You're gonna grab my wrist.
I'm gonna grab your wrist.
Like you grab it and twist it like you're giving me like a wrist lock, like that. With both hands?
With both hands.
Yeah, like that.
That.
Do a fancy little reversal into a headlock here.
Okay.
I like to do. I'll grab like their wrist here.
Okay.
And I'll feed my arm through underneath. And I got them here. Take my other hand, hook it around behind this way, and then I'll come underneath here. Oh, whoa. Right into the headlock.
Oh, shit.
Usually, my opponents are a little bit taller than me. It's hard for me to get this without. I get him over here.
Hit him with the bell!
You coming in?
Oh, give us a close-up of that. Get up to the camera. Bravo!
Come on, shit. 1, 2, 3. Oh, shit.
Fair game. And your winner, Matt Knicks.
There you go. Oh, yeah, look, Jack. Oh, I saw it. That looks
And
dope. Hell yeah.
You feeling all right? How's your head?
I
And
feel
the
like a
crowd
new man.
goes mild.
I'm gonna go home and cry a little bit.
Is your head okay? Dude? I was like hitting you with this. I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry.
It's all good, man. I like getting a little beat up every once in a while.
He likes it. He gave full consent.
But yeah, man. So, you run the Freelance Wrestling Academy, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Or well, you and I guess a couple other people.
yeah. Well, so it's everyone always says that like, oh, you run the school. I'm like, I hate being in charge of things, but like, it is like it's under the freelance umbrella, but I have really good trainers that I trust. You know, kind of doing the whole deal. Isaiah Velasquez, Kylie Ray, and Jeffrey Percival Auster, aka GPA. Those are our 3 trainers that we have right now, and they're awesome. Like they really set the standard, I think, for like what all around training should be. And I'm like, I understand like wrestling training. You can get good wrestling training in a lot of places and stuff, but you know, with a lot of our trainers, with 2 of our trainers, they're like a lot more focused on the physical activeness of training. You know, being in good shape, being an athlete, and a lot of our kids are very, very good in those ways. Like they don't get gassed too often. Like they.
I'm gassed as fuck right now.
So
that little like just fucking oh shit, bro.
No,
so I can only imagine like if you're doing like wrestling training, like what would like let's say somebody who's never done wrestling before, what would like one wrestling training session look like to them?
So like a lot of times too, like when you first sign up, they'll have you kind of run through the gambit of doing like, you know, you'll do like, you know, 100 squats, 100 push-ups, 100, you know, these, that's, and the other before you even get into the ring. And then you
Keep drinking blood.
and then it's just like, you know, you gotta see if you can, not necessarily like, oh, if you can handle it, but like, you know, the wrestling is a very physically demanding thing. So like, you gotta like make sure that you're in great shape. You don't have to be like built like a, you know, a bodybuilder or anything like that.
I don't need a 6-pack.
No, you don't need, not anymore. I feel like that's as they say, as long as you look like an athlete or like, you know, if it fits your character, you know, we have like chubby guys and stuff on our shows too, but as long as you're like, you know, able to kind of like be in good ring shape, because at the end of the day, like you're you know, putting your life in somebody else's hands and their life in your own hands, and you know, you have to kind of be able to protect them as well. Like it's wrestling, but like in the performance aspect of it, you know, you don't want to actually hurt somebody.
I feel that like right now when you were demonstrating that move, I trusted you. I knew that you knew what you were doing, and so I allowed you to do whatever you. Is there ever been a time where like you're in a ring with somebody and you're like, this fucking guy just started yesterday and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing? Like, how does one deal with that? Like somebody inexperienced in the ring versus like I'm very experienced and they're inexperienced. Like, have you ever dealt with that?
Yeah, I mean it's I like wrestling like people that are like newer too, because like when you get like there's a lot of veterans and stuff that you get in the ring with, and they're like, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that. Like they get real like shitty with you. Not shitty, but like at least that's how it was when I was coming up. It might be different now, more so, but I like putting like being in those matches with them, and then like you know you plan everything from A to Z. Usually, you know, you plan some stuff, and then you know you kind of just walk and talk when you're out there. But like the moments when when something happens that wasn't supposed to happen, and they like you see the panic in their eyes, like it's like, okay, relax, chill, like we got this, like, and just kind of like just to help them through those moments, rather like so it's not like a scary like lesson learning moment. You know, even if stuff gets messed up, like there's been times where we come back through the curtain and they're like, I'm so sorry, like I messed this up. I'm like, dude, who fuck, and like not who cares, but like, dude, it's okay. Neither one of us got hurt. You know, you know, and we talk about like whatever happened, and just be like, all right, now like next time you do that move or do this, you try to do this, you know, maybe do it this way so it doesn't like, you know, you lessen the risk of like messing things up or like making it look sloppy or whatever. And I'm like, those are like, I always tell them, like, even like on our shows, like are considered somewhat of a bigger show, like on the independent circuit, but like I'm always saying, like, these are all like auditions for like the big time, you know, so like make those mistakes like on these shows so that when you're ready to be presented, you know, you're polished and you know you learned from the little mistakes that you had over the years.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, hey man, we're getting to just about that time here, but I did have a quick question for you. On the question form we always send out to people, we ask about special shout outs, and you put East Moon. Those
The
are our
homies in East Moon.
Yeah.
East
Shout out
Moon.
East Moon.
Shout out East Moon.
East Moon, shakalaka.
There you go.
How do you know East Moon?
Dude, so I work with Jacob actually. Like we work together at Pro Wrestling Tees.
Oh hell yeah.
And that's how we met. And obviously, like, he was like, oh yeah, like I'm a big wrestling fan, like, and you know, he was really excited to be working there. And he's just a good dude. And like when he was telling me about, like, he's like, oh yeah, I was in bands, and like, I think right when he started there was around the time that they like started East Moon officially. And like, so I've kind of seen like the whole like rise of them from this for this band, I guess. And just like, I like going to all their shows and stuff. Like all the people, like the rest of the members of the band are really awesome too. And like, you know, I've always like wanted to like it was one of my bucket list things was always to be in a band one day. Like I was like, oh man. And like I did, like me and a couple friends had a little band that we did in high school, but like it wasn't anything serious. And when I got into wrestling, it's just, it takes so much time out of my life that I was like, when am I going to have the time to fucking do anything else, you know? And which is true. Like for the longest time, that was all I, like every single weekend, like every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was out traveling somewhere, you know, all over the United States or wherever. And so didn't really have much time for other shit, but I like to live vicariously through Jacob's band, through East Moon. And it helps too that like I actually really like their music too. So I'm like, hell yeah, dude, it's awesome. I've met so many cool people just through Jacob and like through the band and stuff. So shout out East Moon, they rule.
Hell yeah, dude. You know, we had him on here a few months ago, and they headlined our first 1 year anniversary show that we had for this.
Oh
this
yeah.
podcast.
Over Reggie's.
So they're pretty good. Yeah.
Shout out East Moon.
Hell yeah.
Send a love. Boop, boop. Well, we're getting to just about that time. One last question for you. Is there any words of wisdom or anything you want the listeners to know about you or today's episode that you didn't get to mention?
Nothing too crazy. I mean, we pretty much got into everything here. If you ever want to talk about alien stuff or whatever, just hit me up whenever. You know, I'm usually, you know, not doing anything, but I think the only other thing is just to kind of plug our next show that we have, Freelance Wrestling. Our next show is No Cuts, No Glory. I'll read it. So I don't have to. Oh yeah, Saturday, August 23rd at the Logan Square Auditorium in Chicago. Tickets are starting at $30.
There you go.
You can get your tickets. They're on Eventbrite, but the link, you can go just freelancewrestling.com. It's right there. This show is a benefit show for our ring announcer Kirby Alexander. We did a benefit show for him last year actually, and last year's show well, it was for two different things. Last year he had to have heart transplant surgery, which is an incredible and insane operation that he had to have done, and like was able to get through it, and like is now back with us doing ring announcing again full time, and it's incredible. Like it was such a scary time, you know, for a minute there, but like, you know, with all the medical bills and stuff, like we did what we could to like help out, you know, one of our own, and you know, we raised a decent amount of money for him and his family. And then this past year, they lost their home in a fire. Jeez. And thankfully, nobody got hurt or anything. Kirby was home when it happened, so they had to like rescue him like out the second floor window. Yeah, and it's just like, man, like he's genuinely one of the best human beings I've ever met. Like that is somebody who you should get on this show. He has some incredible stories. And yeah, just like the worst possible luck, and just like, but like the most positive person, like, because it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to like mope about this. Like that's the kind of way he described it. He's like, you got to just keep moving.
I love that shit.
And he's like, he because of the his heart transplant. He's like immunocompromised now. So like he was a teacher before, and I don't think he's able to like work in the classroom anymore because of that. Like. And so now he kind of got into like with the name of the show is No Cuts, No Glory. He recently took up he went to barber school and got like his like certificate to cut hair. So we wanted to do our part again and just like give back. So I mean like even if if you're not able to attend the show, like if you just want to buy a ticket anyway, like that's awesome. Like we might do like some sort of online collection thing as well. Like we have a couple items that I'm going to auction off at the show too. I got a couple autographed items from All Ego Ethan Page, former freelance world champion. I got one of his AEW action figures before when they made them.
Hell yeah.
And I got him he signed it on their like former freelance world champion, All Ego Ethan Page. So that'll be a real cool collector's item for anybody that wants to get after that. But yeah, I mean everything out, like we have a few more shows coming up this year at Logan Square Auditorium and at the Logan Square Emporium as well. We do shows there periodically.
I've been there so many times. I've seen your guys' shows.
Yeah?
I live like a block from there. Yeah.
Oh no shit.
I'm on Milwaukee and Sacramento.
Oh no
So,
way.
and then Emporium is like on Milwaukee. And between Sacramento and California.
I used to live
like
over at Belmont and Sacramento.
Hell yeah. I've been there. Yeah, I've seen your guys' shows there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
So if you just follow us on socials at Freelance Res on Twitter, WRES, Freelance Wrestling on Instagram. We have all of our dates posted, pinned to the top of the pages there, so you can check those out as well. Freelance Wrestling on YouTube, and My Violet Tendencies everywhere you get your podcasts, and then the video versions on YouTube as well.
Now, if people want to find you personally, how can they contact you?
Ooh, don't. No, I mean my social media. I think I'm just at the Matt Knicks, TheMattKnicks on pretty much everything.
Cool. And we have a lot of this information down in the description below too as well, folks. So go down to the description below, check it out, give them a like, give them a follow. And again, I just want to make that one more plug for you guys. No Cuts, No Glory. It's going to be Saturday, August 23rd at the Logan Square Auditorium in Chicago.
Saturday, not Sunday.
Saturday. And tickets start at $30. So again, get your tickets, get them early, get them on time. This is going to be a really hell of an event. Matt Knicks, love and appreciate you, brother. Thank you again so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Like we were saying before the show, man, it really flies by when you're having fun, huh?
Holy heck, yeah. I didn't realize what time it was.
Yeah. It's getting late. We got to get back before Jay turns into a pumpkin again.
Hey.
Yeah, bro. I got to go get back and eat before midnight.
Yeah. He turns into a gremlin.
You don't want to know what happens after midnight.
You don't want to know. I've seen it. But again, thank you guys so much for joining us today here at Hawkwind's Radio Picture Show. Again, give Matt Knicks a like, give him a follow, check out all the descriptions down below. We got all of his information. Again, check out his podcast, The Violet Tendencies. And
it's not violent.
Nope, it could be violent.
It could be.
Whole podcast could get violent if you say it.
I mean, shit, man. I just got put in a headlock, so
yeah, anything can happen. You never know. Well, usually at the end of every show, me and Jay like to leave you guys with a little word of advice. Do you got a piece of advice for the folks out there, Jay Smooth?
Not really, man. Just don't look at any of the negative things in your life, and just keep looking forward towards the positive. That's pretty much all I have for everyone right now.
One door closes, another one can open, right?
It can, bro. Like, and it does,
It's all about perspective, baby.
Exactly.
It's all about perspective.
Exactly.
Well, thank you guys again for joining us here at Hawkwind's Radio Picture Show. Much love, much gratitude for all of our listeners and our followers. If you like the show, share us, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, share it with a friend, share it with your girlfriend, share it with your wife. Just share it as many times as you can.
Share it with your girlfriend and your wife at the same time.
It really does mean a lot to us. Again, check out more of our episodes as well. And tune in next next week. We'll be here every single Wednesday at the beautiful Q4 radio station in Chicago, Illinois. If you're not in Illinois, then where the fuck you at?
That's right, Daddy.
They're like, not paying dumb taxes.
Yeah. Being able to afford groceries.
Away from violence and corrupt politics.
But hey, we got a cool lake.
We sure do. We sure do. Which does have aliens in it. But that's going to be a whole other conspiracy. I don't even want to crack that open right now because we'll be here all
That's
night.
for next week.
That's for next week. To find out why the Black Hawk helicopters are flying over Lake Michigan.
What about the black squirrels?
Oh, that's a
Never
whole other
mind, never mind.
conspiracy. Let's not
Just end it now.
not get into
Unfortunately,
it.
this.
Love, peace, and chicken grease. Thanks you guys again for joining us tonight here on Hawk Wins